moved around 3 different times and didn't really get to settle in. And the last time for the 3 days, I didn't even meet the resident that I was working for. So it was tough. I really learned a lot, like of just patience with just learning how different people work, and just had to learn a lot of patience, and I was very tested this week. And one thing that like really stood out to me the whole week, like I just kept thinking about like that God will always hold on to his promises, and like he will always provide, and he brought us to this place like at the perfect time, like met the people that we needed to meet and worked with the people that really needed it, either because their house was just broken down or because they spiritually or mentally just needed people to talk to. And like I was able to share my testimony about my back there, which was just really cool to be able to do. And I didn't have to take any medicine still, and like God just always holds on to his promises. He healed me and isn't going to go back on his word or anything, and I was able to just work there the whole week pain-free, like with no problems, and that was just a huge blessing of my week.
Monday we met our crew. Okay. Monday we met our crew, and it was super awkward. Like, see that kid? He's the most awkward kid I've ever met, and it was just super weird. But as the week went on, like I found out so many cool things about these kids, and their stories are amazing. Like one girl got hit by a bus, and like she lived. Like it was crazy. And we met our residents, and my resident was really reserved, and she stayed in our house the whole time, and it was just like what Anna said, like she didn't meet a resident, and it was kind of weird. So we just started like working on her house, and we painted like her whole entire house, and we fixed her porch and stuff like that. And my resident finally came outside, and me and her like really connected, and she only really wanted to talk to me, which was kind of weird but super nice. And we talked about God, and had a lot of heart-to-hearts, and it was really just amazing to see what God did in her life. And it was just an amazing week.
Well, I got a cold halfway through the week, so bear with me if my voice is kind of... Well, our theme this week was like, what do you stand for? And each day we had a different question that we went through. And there was one night where they took the cross down, which had been up all for the whole week, and they put up an empty chair. And they said, pretend that it's just you and Jesus sitting in the room. What would Jesus say to you? And a lot of people maybe didn't hear Jesus, and a lot of people said they heard like he loves you and stuff. Well, for me, I heard him, you know that I will never leave you nor forsake you. And just like I have been hearing that quite a lot, and it's the you know. I do know that. And so for me this week has been a lot of realizing that I do know everything that I need to know about my faith, and I will not question God.
Well, this week it was just like an amazing experience, like being with everyone, and I really learned a lot about like everyone, like not just like our youth group, but our crew too. And I met a lady named Brenda. She was one of the nicest ladies I've ever met, and she just like, we didn't really have that much to do at our site, so she kind of just told us stories the whole time. And but she was just like, well, my mom passed away a couple of years ago, and it really hasn't felt like home, and I haven't been happy. And before she told us that the first day, we had to come up with something to pray for her for, and we were like, oh, we'll pray for her happiness. She's like, I've been really wanting happiness recently, and she said how it didn't feel like home. So after the end of the week, we went out and bought her like a welcome mat that said like home on it, and she's like, now that you guys have come here and helped me, it's actually starting to feel like home now. So that was really nice of her to say. And
so this year was kind of different because, as you can see, there's a lot less of us than usual, which I was kind of a little bummed about at first, but I think that it all ended up working out for the best because having less people means that you have more time to have more like intimate conversation and just greater opportunity for us all to connect. So that was just one of the things I really appreciated about this week. But for me, what I did was I had a resident and she needed a wheelchair ramp built. Well, that was a big task, so it did take the whole week. In addition to painting a house, so there was a lot going on. But similar to like Trey was saying, a lot of these residents are older people that don't have people living with them. And so my resident, her husband had passed away, and so she was alone. And so she was pretty scared living on her own, and a lot of burglaries and things have been happening in the area too. So she was telling us that us being there was her first opportunity to really be able to come outside of her home, just something we didn't really even think of. You know, she stayed inside all day, never felt safe to come outside, but since we were there, she felt like she was more comfortable in her own home, so it was really cool. But the other thing that was pretty cool is last year we went whitewater rafting, and I was scared to death. So then I figured, okay, we're not going to be doing anything like too extreme this year. I was wrong. I'm kind of like a scared person about that kind of stuff, but we ended up going zip-lining this year through the mountains, which I was so freaked out about all week, and everybody knew it, and they were making fun of me and just making it worse. Trey. Anyways, but just like whitewater rafting, I ended up loving it, and so I really appreciate having Greg and Kathy to push me and the rest of us to try new things on these trips, so thanks for that.
Okay, well, on Monday I met my crew, which everyone was kind of quiet, but as we next day we got to know each other a little more. We started talking, and actually my crew leader, he's a blessing, a living blessing, because he actually has died once, and he said he even saw, like, he saw himself floating up, and he saw the light, and he was brought back. And every day he said is just a blessing, and he is happy. And without him, I don't think we would not have gotten our project done. We had to build a build half of a deck, and none of us really, I knew a little, but none of us really knew much, and he even had troubles, which our guide sighting was the resident's son. He does carpentry as a job, and without him, it would have been impossible. Yeah.
You guys any more to say or what? You good? Thanks, guys. You're awesome. Thanks. Now get out of here. Okay, now we're going to have the leaders.